let's move on to these early busts. So these are going to be
I'm about to bust.
these are going to be players we are low on as a consensus compared to the industry. Ryan, you want to start us out with these? Who you got for your early bust?
All right, my bust this year is Evan Ingram. And to be honest, I thought we were nice with our FF Daydreamer draft guide consensus ranking at 19. I thought we were being nice, and people are still high on him. He's right now half PPR, 15th in ADP, and in full PPR, he's actually 12, which is even crazier to me. The reason why I am so low, and I think that he is going to be nowhere in the top 15, is because last year he was the main target. He had 109 targets, and he still finished 15th. Just think about that. He was the main guy on the Giants, and he was 15th. He only scored one touchdown, and he ran for a touchdown. He is below average, and now they have all these targets. Kenny Gallaudet. Shepard's coming back and probably going to be healthy for most of this season, which, actually, I don't know that. Slayton coming back. Saquon coming back. And they signed Kyle Rudolph, which is a red zone threat. And they drafted Darius Toney. There is too many weapons. He's not going to get the targets. He's inefficient. He has bad hands. He should have never made the Pro Bowl.
Dang.
All truth, though.
Yeah, we're calling you out, Pro Bowl selection committee.
Yeah, Evan Ingram. People have been so high on him for years and years now, and it's never panned out.
Well,
it's never done well.
Before, he couldn't stay on the field. This last year, he stayed on the field and just didn't produce. And I want to shout out for him dropping that pass versus the Eagles, giving me some hope and being able to roast my amazing girlfriend, Sarah, because she's a Giants fan and all her family. Because, again, he dropped that pass. Game winner. Game stealer, probably. Yeah. That was him all season. To get one touchdown, it was ridiculous.
Absolutely. All right. Moving on. My guy. My early round bust, Leonard Fournette. I know there's a little bit of confusion from other people here. His ADP right now is 32, 33, and we have him at 33. But he's being drafted overall in like the 6th or 7th round, and I just think that's too high. Ryan is the only one that's really high on him. You have him at like 27, Ryan, which is a little ridiculous to me. I'm next highest at 35, which is a little hint here, a little breakthrough into the industry, he's going to be dropping in our rankings come August 1st. Go on the website, daydreamermedia.com, our draft guide. He will be dropping in my rankings. I know that's going to bring him down in our rankings overall. So he's just being overvalued right now. Everyone has recency bias on him, I feel like, because he played pretty well in the playoffs. But if you guys
playoff Lenny, dude, you don't get that
was
nickname
without
playing well.
I get it, but if you remember before that, the Bucks were almost going to cut him. So
everyone hits a low point in life.
Yeah, I thought his low point was getting cut from the Jaguars, but no. Okay, he finished running back 38, and in one less game than Ronald Jones. He had 100 less touches, over 100 less touches, and less than 100 rushing yards. He also only had 5 more receptions than Ronald Jones. Oh, and they added Giovanni Bernard to the team. Ugh. Giovanni Bernard, I know you hate him, Keoni, but he could.
I hate his mustache.
Okay. You hate his mustache, but he could play the James White role for Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. If Leonard Fournette is going to be fantasy relevant, he's going to still have to get 50 targets. And with Giovanni Bernard there, I don't know if he gets near that number. So I just think he's being drafted at his ceiling and he has a much lower floor. He's being drafted as like a flex option. And I'm just not here for it.
Yeah, and we all know that Bruce Arians is a bitch. So
Facts.
you never really know how that backfield is going to go, because 1 second you're playing and then the next second you're not. And if you're going to have to rely on somebody to pick in your draft, or from that backfield, I don't want to use the term trust, but I put more faith in Ronald Jones than I do Leonard Fournette. And then, as you said, Giovanni Bernard just muddles that even more. And I can see him catching the ball more than maybe Fournette would. But if he fixes his mustache situation, which I hope he will, now that he's in Tampa Bay, it'll be too muggy down there to have facial hair. I don't know.
Yeah. The humidity will just
right.
upper lip sweat. Can't stand it. But yeah. I think that's another thing is I'm starting to come around on Ronald Jones being the actual lead back in Tampa Bay, with Fournette and Bernard coming second, 2A, 2B. And so I just think that the bust is that, yeah, we have him ranked right around where the industry has him ranked, but I think everyone, the industry and us included, have him ranked at his ceiling. So I think he will be a bust. He's more likely to bust at his ADP than not.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, Keoni. Let's hear who you got.
All right. So I have CD Lamb, which is wild potentially.
Yes.
All you Dallas fans out there, get ready.
I'm not even Dallas fan. I want to know your argument though. Let's hear it.
Okay. Because a lot of people have his ADP, and this is ADP based. Not that he's a bad player. I think he's actually going to do very well, and that entire offense will do very well fantasy-wise. I don't know how they're going to do in terms of the actual football season. I mean, I think they're going to maybe, if they do get to playoffs, I think they're going to lose within like the first game of playoffs. But I think the team overall will do well in fantasy. But compared to the ADP that other people have him in positionally, a lot of other people have him going at the end of the first round, or at least not the end of the first round. I mean, they have him like either the 12th wide receiver, like 14th wide receiver. And I just think that's too high. One, because I don't think he is that good in general. And two, that would arguably put him ahead of Amari Cooper. And I just don't see him being ahead of Amari Cooper, at least for right now. I still think Amari Cooper is the number one wide receiver on that team and will continue to be, at least for this season. We'll see in another year or so. But even if you still have Amari Cooper ahead of him at that ranking, which other people didn't, they had CD Lamb ahead of Amari Cooper. If Amari Cooper was number one, that would put him in like the top 7 of wide receivers, and he's just not. And because there's the other wide receivers there are better than Amari Cooper. And that's just, I think it's scaled too high. And so I think we have him around, I would say 26-ish in our for wide receivers. And I think that's a proper place for him because he's not the number one there. And I can't imagine you putting a number one or a not number one in the like top as a top wide receiver, because he's not in his own team. So why would he be on your team unless you really, really value him, which I don't, even though I think that team's going to do well. I just think his ADP from other people are way too high, and he should be, overall, he might wish maybe like 5th or 6th round, maybe. But
yeah,
in terms of wide receiver, I think he's like 24 through 26 ish. That's where he ranks in wide receivers.
Yeah. We have him as our 24th wide receiver.
Okay.
So he's literally the last wide receiver too. Yeah, I agree. Cooper is still the number one wide receiver on that team. Yes, Dak Prescott is going to come back. So I think we might have him a little low, but having him go like 13, 14 where the industry is having him go is just It's just too rich for me.
Mm.
Too rich for my blood. So yeah, I'm with you. And people seem to have forgot that Michael Gallup is there and Blake Jarwin is there, Dalton Schultz is there. These guys are not going to get 0 targets. I mean, they're not just going to go all to CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. I also think Ezekiel Elliott is going to get more passing work than he did last year now that Dak is back. So, Ryan, what say you?
You see, I really like CeeDee Lamb. I do agree that I think the 24th spot is probably where he should go. But I would not be surprised if he's better than Amari Cooper. The main thing about Amari Cooper is that he's so inconsistent. You can have 4 great games and you not hear from him for 4 straight games. And that's how he's always been. I mean, with the Raiders, he used to drop a lot of balls too. And CeeDee Lamb is pretty filthy. He's getting the number 2 corner in most games. So he has the talent to put up the numbers. Am I saying he should go there? No. I think again we should go there with a 24 spot in that range. But you have bet on talent sometimes.
He does definitely have the upside to be a wide receiver 1 and to be the number 1 wide receiver even on that team. Like you said, he could surpass Amari Cooper, but Keoni did like Keoni said, it's not this year. He doesn't think so, and I think that's where I agree with him.
Hey, you! Check out some of these other cool videos we have, as well as subscribe and click that bell. It really helps our channel out. And don't forget to stay dreamin'.